Well, hello, everybody. This is my first shot at streaming on Twitch, so if there are bumps in the road, forgive me. And if there are no bumps in the road, then that's because of the awesome help that I have received from my wonderful Lou and Dee. And, well, the internet is a crazy place, so let's see if we can't get crazy. Hello, everyone. Hello from the UK. Hello from everywhere. I have a lot of questions. So let me just start by saying, I got about 160 questions. Some of them were duplicates from the time before, so I edited those out. And obviously, if it's anything regarding season 2 or stuff I can't discuss, then not gonna answer it. But everything else, I'll do my best. Let's start. All right, from Silco's Good Boy. I think we know who that is. Hi, Brittany. I've been wondering, how do you feel when you look back at your earliest works? Well, I think I have a lot to learn. I think I have a lot of talent. I can definitely, I don't look back at my earliest work and go, oh God, that's horrible. I'm the kind of artist who thinks that your art is the way it is for a reason when you're doing it. And I never look back with regret because it's a waste of time. So, but I do look at it and think, that guy's got a lot to learn. Okay. Next, from Echo, Silco's lapdog. I know you missed this, but if you could play a live-action role as Silco in a movie, would you? Yeah, actually. Other than me not being that tall, I'm 5'7". I could be 5'10" in heels. There's an image. I think that would be the only reason they might not pick me, other than most movies that get made these days have lots of stars for a reason. It's very expensive to make movies and it's very risky. So you won't find producers taking a risk on someone who doesn't have a big on-camera name for themselves. But Harry could play Victor, and there's a lot of on-camera personalities in Arcane already, so I might just slide in there. So if we don't talk about whether it's valid or not, of course. Power, real power, comes to those who have on-camera acting credits. All right. I'm trying to concentrate on the questions and look in the right place, and Twitch is exciting. All right, next, from Niku. Hi, Niku. Was there any other character you voiced that got as much fan art attention as Silco? And do I collect my favorite pieces? The answer to that question is no. Wally West came close. Wally West came close. Like, Young Justice was very popular, especially after it stopped airing and everybody tried to bring it back online. So Wally's probably about 75% of what I get with Silco. And there isn't the same variety because there are some incredible fine artists like Niku and Haikun that they're just incredible pieces of art. So nothing like that even comes close. All right. And you're welcome. From my Lou. My wonderful Lou. Have you ever done motion capture work? And if so, was it for you? Yes, I have. I've done plenty of motion capture work. I try to do one about every year if I can get the role. Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Sony Vita was my very first motion capture role. And that was with J.B. Blanc, who plays Vander, was the villain in that game. And Nolan North obviously played Drake. And I played Dante. And I love it. It's like being a kid again. You know, when you were a kid, you know, a stick was a gun and a rock was a grenade, and that's what it's like when you're on the mocap stage. You're wearing this, you know, suit that is nothing. You have to imagine what everyone looks like, and it's basically a playground for your imagination. And I love that because once you commit and you get wrapped up in it, you're there for the long haul. So, yeah. Thanks, Lou. All right. This is from Claim the Skies. Hi. What is your life philosophy? And if you have one, what is it? You're always so positive and full of energy. I get pretty philosophical at times. So if I had to say my life philosophy in a sentence, it would be you are unique and you only get one chance to have this life. Since we can't yet get to the multiverse, this is your shot. So take it. So don't waste any of the time that you have. I mean, every heartbeat you get is one you'll never have again, and every breath you take is the same. So for you to waste any of that, I mean, what a shame. Because you're also surrounded by atoms that will never be in the same place, and the air you're breathing might have been breathed in by someone great, because we've recycled all the air molecules on the earth now multiple times over. So just think of how special you are and how unique your place in time is, and take advantage of it and enjoy and experience your life. Okay. Thanks, Claim This Guys. Twitter, Lucinophile. Hi. Jason, if you do live action, motion capture, and voice acting, which is the most challenging? This is an interesting question because a lot of people would think that, voiceover might be challenging because you only have your voice to use as your tool, or you only have, in motion capture, there's the suit and the head camera and everything. I actually find on-camera acting to be the most challenging, and the reason isn't what you think. The reason is because you have to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and the hours are long. For motion capture, it's 4-hour sessions. Everything is controlled from 9 to 1. Then you take a break, and in voice acting, it's all you're only working during the day. And on camera, you could be on location somewhere in the world. Your body clock could be completely screwed up, and you got to be up till 3 in the morning and look your best because millions of people are going to see it the moment they hit record. That to me is more difficult. I love it, but it's definitely harder. All right. Tempering traps. Oh, hi. When was the last time you laughed so hard you cried? This week? I laugh a lot. Now, anyway. Who or what? The next is Andrew O. Press. Who or what inspired you to do voice acting? Well, Andrew, if that is in fact your name, the internet is full of anonymous crazies. I was inspired by Mel Blanc. When I was younger, I used to sit way too close to the TV, and I would do all the voices from Warner Brothers cartoons and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And I would they sounded like somebody on helium. But it was really that was the initial inspiration. I didn't know until later that that's what I really wanted to do, but I think that was my initial inspiration. So, Mel Blanc. Yeah. Suffering succotash. I'm terrible at the voices, by the way. So I can't really imitate Mel Blanc's voices that well. A lot of people can, but that's not my bag for some reason. Next is from an anonymous donor. We have, let's see. Are you in any way familiar with the voice actors from Critical Role, such as Matthew Mercer, Laura Bailey, Liam O'Brien, etc.? Have you met any of them? Yeah. I mean, not only have I met them, I've worked with all of them. The ones that do... I am going to sneeze. Give me 1 second. The ones that do... I'm fine. The ones that do acting, like Laura and Matt and Liam, I've acted with all of them. So I have had the opportunity to work in video games, every single one of them. And not only do I know them, but I was invited to, I think, the first or second game that they played Dungeons and Dragons together. So how about that for a moment? Matt invited me, Matty, as I like to call him, invited me, and I had a family obligation. So if I actually hadn't had that family obligation, I'd probably have been on Critical Role, and he has said so much. I don't get to spend a lot of time around them because they're super busy now. But yeah, I'd say they're my buddies. All right, and they're all really, really cool people. I got to see them at the finale premiere, and it was nice. I mean, the premiere for Arcane, the first 3 episodes, and it was really, really nice. And Abria, I'm sure she'll see this. I got to meet Abria, the new DM, and she loved me and invited me on at some point, and I said yes. I still have my original dice from 1985. All right, Clover Badge. Do you think Silco overworks himself? To be honest, I think Silco has a decent, I'm going to say work-life balance. That's not accurate. What I mean to say is I don't think he has trouble taking a minute and staring out the window. If that's a thing. And I also think he's obsessed with the Nation of Zon. So an obsession sometimes doesn't mean that you're not working the correct amount. I'm not sure he feels overworked to me. All right, next is Chloe. Would Silco gift Jinx? What would Silco gift Jinx on her birthday? Raw materials for her gadgets, because he wants to see what she can create. He wants her to be the best version of herself. So he would like to see what she would do. All right. Next, Fabula Art. Fabula Art? What is your favorite thing about voice acting? That I can be on 3 shows at once, and I've never been typecast, even though I play a lot of different villains. I've never been pigeonholed, and I think in on-camera that tends to happen. So the flexibility. What is your favorite thing? Whoops, next one. Nemion. There's a little debate on whether Silco's accent is British. We initially had a discussion about this, and yes, of course it's British, inspired, because Alex and Christian, the creators of Arcane, didn't want you to be able to pinpoint the location on the map of real human life where Silco was from. So closest might be Manchester, but nowhere specific. So that's why it sounds like it's a little bit nebulous and a little fadey. So, yes, inspired by, but nowhere specific on purpose. That was their choice. Next, by nobody, an anonymous person. Were there any funny incidents working on Arcane or other projects? Will you tell us about one of them? Yeah, one time we were doing season 3 of Young Justice, and I was the first one in the studio. And I saw that Troy Baker, who plays Geoforce, I saw that Troy was coming in the studio. And there's a moment at which you walk past the glass and you can see behind it into the place where the actors are going to do their work. He walked past the glass, and in that instant, I got up out of my chair and I hid behind the door. And then he came in and saw that I wasn't sitting down, and then I jumped out and scared the shit out of him. I liked doing that to Troy. Troy and I have got to work many times together. Let's see. How important, just thinking about it. He was like, tightened his sphincter that day, I did. Okay, how important to you is body language when you're recording? From Absolute Sophie. Body language is impossible to stop. So when I'm recording, I'm always doing something with my hands or my arms or whatever, and it's always helping the character come out. I think it's because of my theater background. It's very rare that I do a character without any body language. What's really interesting is Silco has no body language. He's one of the few characters I've ever done that doesn't have a specific body language to him that I use to call up the voice or to help. Pretty crazy. All right, next, Wyatt Weave. I watched Intersect the other day. Well, thank you, Wyatt. I noticed that it was filmed way before it actually got out. Do you know why? Yes, I know why. Because we got funding to do another movie, a documentary called The Unbelievers. And so we had already finished principal photography on Intersect, and then we just took a break and went and filmed this entirely other 2-hour documentary film about Richard Dawkins and Lawrence Krauss called The Unbelievers. And then we picked back up on Intersect after that was cut and released. So that's like a 3-year plus process for Unbelievers alone. So yeah, that's just how it goes in the film industry, man. If you see the cookie, you go eat the cookie. You don't wait for the milk. All right, next is Ginge Swagtia. Ginge Swagtia? Okay, well, hi. Do you ever play any of the games that you voice act for? The answer to that is no, because I'm not a gamer. I don't really have a lot of time to play video games, although I have a little more time now, so I'm trying to learn. People being very gentle with me as I try to learn video games. And so I don't. The only one I've ever played is Days Gone, because for a podcast, I was invited to this studio, and they were like, hey, we're going to play the game on camera. And so I did, and I sucked. I just ran in a circle and I think got killed in 30 seconds. Story of my video game career, which is why I'm on Twitch now. Beyond Under Trash League. Core Lord, or Corpse Lord, depending upon how you read that. What is the most useless talent you have? I was discussing this with a dear friend, and I think it's this. All right. Undo Piper on Instagram. Hey, my question is, since we all have down days from time to time, what's your go-to when it comes to cheering yourself up and allowing yourself to process your emotions? Well, as an actor, I've had lots of practice processing my emotions. So if I'm down, I will sometimes write poetry. I will sometimes sketch. I will reach out to a friend. I think primarily I reach out to people. I don't isolate. When I was younger, we moved around a lot. And I remember how awful it felt not to have anyone to reach out to. So these days I just reach out to people if I'm feeling down. And I have hobbies. I like to design buildings and things like that. So there's always something in the offing for me to do. I used to play with Legos a lot as a kid. I don't do that now. But all right, Moliab. I love the usernames. I love the fact that we're, completely out of usernames that are pronounceable in the universe right now. I think it's beautiful. Creativity. What advice would you give your younger self? To be patient with yourself. That to accept who you are and to be okay in your own skin. Still learning that some days. Fluff Dog Booed 13. What do you think Silco's favorite memory of Jinx is? I think his favorite memory of her is probably her bringing him things she's made into his office. You know how he has that mug that's made out of one of her, husks of one of her inventions? I think her bursting through the door excited to show him what it is she's made. It's probably one of Silco's favorite memories. All right, Gozia Faraya 1 thing. Not even going to try that one. Do you think there is a true villain in Arcane? Yes. Wealth inequality. All right. TCL Turbo. What is your favorite Kid Flash quote in Young Justice? That's a tough one. I think it's magic is a real lie, a major load. Magic is the real lie, a major load. Fine. I lied about believing in magic. There's something about that. It's a moment where Wally, for the first time, he would do anything to get the girl. And then he just lets a piece of himself out there. I really kind of like it. All right. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that he says to Artemis, which is beautiful and lovely, but I'm going to go with that one. Goldwing Illustrations. You mentioned during my first AMA, I think, that I was building a sustainable house as one of your hobbies. Wondering what features of the prototype you had. Okay, so this is a long question, but I'm not going to read the whole question. I'm just going to say, over COVID, I had a chance to build a house for a friend of mine. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's only about 1,000 square feet in Arizona for my friend. And I designed it from scratch and built it from the ground up. So the pad was poured and the septic system was put in, but other than that, everything else was us. And it took us a year. We started in June and finished in July, early August. It's fully off-grid, so it generates all its own power. It has rainwater cache tanks, although the water tanks aren't quite enough for all year-round use. And I have to be honest, it was the most fun experience ever. Plus, I got to build it for him and his daughters. I learned a lot about what it's like to try to make something affordable and yet sustainable. It's a challenge. I know there's a lot of people who are like, why don't we all have affordable houses? It's not easy. I think mostly because every construction project has its individual challenges, so it's difficult to just remove them all. But yeah, it's pretty darn cool. There'll be a blog about it. I have a ton of pictures and everything I want to post. I just haven't got to that point yet, so I will post it on social media, and so you'll all get to see pictures of me risking my life and cutting the tendons in my right hand. Works now, thanks to a brilliant surgeon. All right. Anyway, yes, I think it's the way forward for humanity to have small, affordable, sustainable houses for people. I think it's really important, especially so people feel safe and they don't feel manipulated by their landlords and things like that, at least in America. All right, next is Instagram, Sam_01567. Hey, Jason, maybe you can say something that gets you out of bed in the morning. What gets me out of the bed in the morning? I think that the day is different than the day before. And I don't know in advance what it is that's going to be different about the day. It's like a surprise. I'm like opening a present every day I wake up. What's today going to bring, right? I think if I thought I had to do the exact same thing every day, I probably would lose that. But I try to keep my life exciting and just experience different things every day. Because otherwise, why are you here? That's what you got to do. You got to take each day one at a time and see what it's going to bring. All right. So what would I say to get me out of bed? It's another day. Mother cluckers. All right, moving on. What fine marble on Twitter. What fine marble you have here. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Beasts series? Oh, I kicked into that accent at the right time. What do I like it, and if so, what are your favorite characters or magical creatures? I like the hippogriff. There's something about the hippogriff that's really, really cool. And yes, I love the Fantastic Beasts series. I love that it has a different timbre than the movies. It has a different tone. The way that it's shot is slightly different. The way that it lands on you is slightly more, not mature, but just different. It almost takes itself a little lighter at times. I really enjoy it. I just love the relationships. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's a brilliant adaptation. All right. And rain that makes you forget. That's just cool, people. From Kaiser Lover on TikTok. Not even sure what that is. Hey, King. Was wondering what Hogwarts house I was. Well, I took the test twice, and once I came up Hufflepuff, once I came up Gryffindor. And that was just a week ago or so. What other languages do you speak? I speak nothing else. I speak English. I have been asked to speak languages extemporaneously as a voice actor multiple times, and I just make up gibberish. Pretty decent at that. For example, I think I did that with Razor on Green Lantern the Animated Series. From Rosie Templeton, what topic could you spend hours talking about? Wealth inequality. It's funny. We should mention that, but I'm not going to do that on this call. Also, love parts of the human condition, like things that make up the human condition. I could spend forever talking about those things. Next is Lemon Emlyn. Very cool. Mr. Spisak, how or why did you start to code? What on earth would possess you to code? What's wrong with you? Well, originally I started coding BASIC when my dad got a 386 computer because I'm old as and what I just liked that I could put things into the computer and then hit enter, and then what would come out is what I told it to do. So let me think. We had a 386 and then a 486, and I tinkered around with BASIC and things, but it wasn't until after college, and I always kind of did a little programming on the side, that I started to use Python a lot. And it was so that I could support myself while I did acting in Los Angeles. How crazy is that I was a programmer on the side to support myself. I did SQL, database programming, and Python programming to support myself in Los Angeles. Not every actor says that. I waited tables. All right, next. We're looking at Mars.on.Earth_design. If Shimmer had its own product catchphrase, what would it be? Let the monster out, I think. It's time to let the monster out. I think that would be it. All right, Holland's Grave, coffee, tea, or neither? Tea? I'm a water drinker. I drink a lot of water, but that's because I live in a desert. Tea. I can't drink coffee. I like the smell of it. I can't drink it. What did you dream about in childhood? And what are you dreaming about now? And when you say dream about, is that like what you wish you could do? I had a lot of nightmares as a kid. I had a very active imagination. I used to have flying dreams a lot. But as far as like, what do you wish you could accomplish in this world as a child? I always liked building things. I built a lot of Legos, so I'm kind of thinking, I always thought I'd be a builder of some kind. But now, I just want to make the world a better place. One person at a time, one project at a time, whatever. Next, R.K. Melvin. Did you do anything to get into character for Silco, like reading up on lore of League of Legends? The answer to that is not really. A lot of characters I do that for, but Silco was not in the lore. I did have to look up the game and the universe and understand what that was, and of course understand Zon specifically because it's the lanes become Zon. So I had to get what that was, and thankfully Alex and Christian filled in a lot of that for me, but I didn't do a lot of research for him, not a ton. Mostly what I did was every time they sent me a script, I read it again and again and again, because the key was in what other people would say about me, what they would say about the world, and what I would say to other people. It was all right there because the writing is so good. So I dove into the scripts like crazy and always had questions for them when I came in. Super prepared. So it wasn't like research the world prepared, but know who I'm going to be prepared in that sense, relationship-wise and mood-wise and that type of thing. All right, Alex_Camarino. How do you find out what kind of acting you want? How did I find out what kind of acting I wanted to do? I didn't. Acting is acting. It's sort of like, how do you find out what kind of art you want to do as an artist? Well, being creative and being an artist is an artist. And when you pick up clay or you pick up pencils or charcoal, some of them you seem to be better at than others. And I think that's why I ended up gravitating towards voice acting, because it was the thing that gave me the most opportunities to work. All right. These Empress. Do you read fan fiction? I've read a couple of comics, but no, I don't read any fan fiction. Simply don't have the time. Ireland Holmes. If you could own any animal in the world, what would it be and why? Maybe a panther? Big cats are cool. Big cats are cool. All right. But that would be rude, because like I wouldn't want to take a wild animal and like take it out of the wild. I like my heart, whenever I see wild animals like in captivity, part of me is like, eh. And I know that's not true. I know they get taken care of well, but I wouldn't do that just for personal pleasure. Ophelia, like Hamlet's Ophelia. What do you think about audiobooks? Is it different from voice acting? I don't do audiobooks because they don't pay well. My agent doesn't send them to me. And they can be tedious. So unless it's a book you really love and an author who's your friend, I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks because I always critique the voice acting in my head. So neither do I listen to them or perform them. I don't know. But I actually might. It has been suggested to me by a dear friend that an audiobook as either Cameo fans, where I read audiobooks to my Cameo fans, or a stream of some kind, like on Twitch for subscribers, that audiobooks would be really cool. I have to watch out about copyright and stuff, but maybe there's a future there. All right. Jenna Aldad. Jenna Aldad? Oh yeah, I butchered the crap out of that. But there's an underscore after it, so that totally saves me. My question is, what do you like and dislike about voice acting? What are the positives and negatives? That's interesting. One, it's almost all positive, first of all, because you can go to work dressed casual. You have, the only hours you really ever work, you never work past 8 in the evening, and you never work earlier than 8 in the morning. You never work longer than 4 hours in a row. It's like the cushiest job ever. I'm going to say this and everybody's like, I want to be a voice actor. But one tough part is you have to really take care of your voice. Like right now I have a little bit of a stuffy nose, and you can hear that on recordings. So I have to get that cleared up before I do my next thing. It's a little worrisome. It can be a little anxiety inducing. It also, there can be vocal stress, and I've stopped doing the jobs that can be vocally stressful where you lose your voice. So there are some video games where you scream, grenade, and you're just bleeding from your vocal cords. And there was a point in my career where I couldn't do those anymore because it's physically too difficult. So that's the bad part. Like, if you hurt yourself, there's a lot of work out there. And as an actor, you have to work. You have to put food on the table. So you don't always get to make that choice. So, yeah, little anxiety about that. Like, if you ever lose your voice as a regular person, you're like, oh, well, I can't talk today. If you lose your voice as a voice actor, you're like, mother, oh, my God, I'm going to die. My career's over. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, next one. This is from Radioactive with a Y, Waste. What are your favorite video games and or shows? Okay. I like Stranger Things. I thought it was really lovely. First season, best to be. Video games wise, I don't play a lot of video games, like I said. I do love Harry Potter. I do like... I'm not sure I have a favorite TV show per se. Like Breaking Bad was awesome, and but I think right now I really like RuPaul's Drag Race too. I think it's a beautiful show about people just being who they are regardless, and I like it when people are encouraged to be their authentic selves. So favorite fictional show, Stranger Things at the moment. First season. Gojo Skento. Whose character would you have loved to see Silco interact with? I would have loved to see him have a scene with Heimerdinger. Now, this is not because I want this to be in the show, because it wouldn't belong in the show. But what Heimerdinger was disillusioned, and that's why he went down to see what was up in the lanes, right? So to me, it would have been neat to see what Heimerdinger and Silco had to discuss, because they both come from positions of power in their opposing worlds, per se. And I just think it would be fascinating. And of course, at the end, Silco would kick him. Piss off, Yodel. All right, moving on. Abby Marie 91. What is some advice you have for actors who are feeling discouraged but want to give up? Well, here's the thing. Acting isn't just acting if you only do it in world famous shows. You can do it in community theater. You can do it on YouTube. There's a lot of ways you can act, right? So if what you're saying is, I'm discouraged that I'm not a successful actor who can do this for a living and be in shows lots of people know or have seen, think about what you're saying for a second. That's just ambition, and there's nothing wrong with ambition. It's your choice when your ambition runs out. It's no one else's choice. So I would say don't give up. You will regret having given up, but always try to be working. Even the audition is work. Anything you do on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, this is all, you can do it with friends now. You could do TikTok movies. You could have 3 actors in a movie on TikTok that takes, 2 minutes or something. You don't limit yourself. Don't limit your creativity. And don't get too discouraged. There's a lot of people out there who never get to be in the position that I'm in. And it doesn't mean you're not doing your art if you haven't been in Arcane. Being an artist means a lot of things. So don't get discouraged. All right. Raven's Life. Hey, Raven's Life 71. Do you have a favorite childhood story or something you like to think about? My 4th grade math teacher was very inspiring to me. I hated math. I wasn't very good at it. But he inspired me. Mr. Bloom was his name. And he was also an actor. And I went to see him outside of school in a community theater musical. And that was the first time I had a teacher look at me and just be like, "You're cool, just the way you are. It's cool, kid. You're gonna be fine." And to see him just be who he was in the classroom and outside the classroom, it was very inspiring to me. So I had an early interaction with theater then, and he was my 4th grade teacher. I didn't start my first acting until I was in 7th grade, but yeah, so that story was super inspiring. Thanks, Mr. Bloom. You're a pretty dang cool guy. All right, Heroes of Geek. If you could have any item from the Arcane TV show in real life, what would it be and why? It's hard not to say fish bones, be able to just blow people away. But I'm not a violent person. So it would be Hextech, and I think specifically the gauntlets, because then I could dig foundations for houses without having to call in an excavation crew. And they make me look like a badass. Something with Hextech for sure. All right, Jeddah. Do you get recognized in public often? No, I don't, but it's because I'm a voice actor and I haven't really been in anything super popular until Arcane, so that might change. The last time I almost got recognized in public was I bought the Sharpies for my first signing, and afterwards when I left, the cashier was staring at me and staring at me and staring at me, and then showed up on TikTok to say, "I sold this man Sharpies." It's about the closest as it's come recently. All right, Kendall 757, what's your go-to ice cream flavor? Peanut butter and chocolate. Always has been. Although recently, to be honest, I'm getting a little tired of it. Crazy. People change. Hamoud BJN, aka Miko, how much time did the whole Silco voice thing take you? To make the Silco voice, almost no time at all. It just kind of fit right in there, which is crazy. Doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you gotta really work at it, but for Silco. And what's my favorite TV show? Well, I already said so. Lack of honor. What aspects of Silco's style would you like to try to wear? I like the tight fitting clothing, right? Like I like fitted shirts and tight slacks. Like I like that already. I like vests too. So, and this is weird because like you see Silco's character design, you go, all right, is Jason dressing as Silco or is Silco dressing as Jason? What's happening now? Are we in a time warp? And I've always liked vests. You can look back at pictures of me at other Comic Cons and stuff, and like, so yeah, maybe dress up with the vest more often. I don't know. All right, Zonzai. What's Silco's evil laugh like? It's like this. Really quiet. Silco doesn't let loose and laugh very often. Not the kind of guy who lives in a place like the Lanes. Not the kind of guy who laughs. It would be super, super quiet and very low-key. He doesn't really let it out. Okay. It certainly wouldn't be like the Joker. I'm not going to scare you guys again. I'm thinking about it. I won't do it. Well, strange Russian fans ask, do you know anything about your Slavic roots? The answer is not a lot. 1v EXE on Instagram. If you were to write Arcane, would you have chosen a different ending? No, actually the ending is perfect. I love the fact Silco has to die to make room for Jinx to be who she is, and it has to happen that way. The sacrifice is the perfect cornerstone to the story continuing. Aaron Landa, what would be Silco's life advice? Power, real power, doesn't come to those that were born fastest or strongest or smartest. No, it comes to those that would do anything to achieve it. Easy to answer that one. Audrey Holtz, 2187. What is your advice for aspiring film actors? It's difficult. Difficult. Very difficult. It's hard to be an actor and get paid to do it. But if you're good at it, you're sought after. So I would say become the best actor possible. Take acting classes. Go to conservatory. Be in as many plays as you can. Do it as much as you can and become better at your craft. Because that's the way that you're going to become sought after, basically. And right now there's a lot of small films, a lot of fan films. Just audition. Don't hold back. Go be in things. You never know what might happen. Get jinxed on TikTok. I heard Silco puts concealer on his scars and draws on an eyebrow. What do you think of that? I think everybody wants to be prettier than they are. Human beings, man, we're all very vain, and Silco's no exception. He's quite vain, and in a way, Vander took something away from him, and that's palpable when you see him trying, to make himself up. All right, next, how fun was it playing Silco? So much fun. We had a blast. We didn't do a ton of joking around, but it was always wonderful to act the scenes and palpable. There were so many emotional moments. They're so good. I mean, and Silco is king, so to be able to just say 3 words or something and freeze people in their tracks, that's the trouble with you, Marcus. Just such beautiful writing. All right, who or what was your greatest inspiration in your career and your life? Also, what was your childhood dream? I'm going to go with the greatest inspiration in my career. Robin Williams was a big inspiration to me, so I grew up watching Mork and Mindy and Robin. When I came to Los Angeles, a lot of people accused me of mimicking Robin Williams in my stand-up comedy style, but he was around on TV when my brain was forming, so there's a lot of that swimming around in there. There was a way that he looked at life that was wacky and fun and different, and I embraced that. I thought that was really lovely. So, I would say Robin Williams was a big inspiration to me, actually. Next, do you, Jinx Barb on Twitter, do you think Silco's wardrobe was inspired by yours in any way? That's funny. We talked about that a second ago. I didn't wear vests. Nobody at Riot knew that I liked to wear vests. Like, nobody knew that. So, the wardrobe, when I went in to do the recordings, I had jeans on. Like, I didn't wear tights fitting slacks or anything. A black top, but like, so I don't know how the character design ended up being so fitting for me personally. And I know that they drew the face and everything after they had cast me, so I'm sure there was some back and forth, the little inspiration, and then they would run with it, what they saw on the video, because they did videotape the actors also. But not the wardrobe. It's so weird. Instagram prankster fan. What are your favorite side projects that you enjoyed the most? Oh, and also, would you be interested in Dungeons and Dragons? Well, yeah, as I said before, I'd play Dungeons and Dragons. I'd play with Maddie and the folks at Critical Role, or Abria. I'd love to. But side projects, building the sustainable off-grid house that was pretty close to carbon neutral on day one was awesome. And I highly recommend learning to build things. It's just so invigorating when you're done to stand back and see that there's a kitchen there and there's a bedroom and this is going to be a roof over people's heads. I loved that. So whether you build the house or anything else, to be honest, just enjoy doing it. Just have a good time and learn something new. I have a passion for learning new things. So, favorite side project I most enjoyed was making that house, to be honest. I call it Junction View. So might end up being the website that it's on. Toasty! Hey, Toasty! How you doing? On Twitter? How do you think Jinx gave the monkey mug to Silco? I'm pretty sure that Silco was drinking out of a mug, just, a regular mug. And one day he came to his desk and it was gone. And in its place was the monkey mug. With not a word, not a thing, not a discussion. His mug was used for some other project and it was gone. And in its place was this. All right. Counterfeits. Hey, Jason, do you like Star Wars? Of course, I'm a huge Star Wars geek. I had Star Wars toys growing up. Every bit of birthday money I could buy Legos or Star Wars toys. Those are my two big things. If so, what's my favorite piece of Star Wars media? I think Rogue One is actually my favorite Star Wars movie. I love Rogue One a lot. And my favorite character, I really like K2SO, actually, my buddy Alan Tudyk. But if I had to pick one favorite character from the whole overarching of Star Wars, I like Yoda a fair bit, actually. I always thought Yoda was really, really cool.
Thought you cool, did you? You thought you cool? I'm cool. I'm 900 years old.
Yeah, I love Yoda. Which scene from Arcane made you cry the hardest? From Val the Mackinac. The alley scene with Powder. Let's see. Can you give us some of your original stand-up comedy jokes from back in the day? Let me see if I can remember something. Mine was more stream of consciousness on stage, but I did definitely have material. So, all right. Yeah, you ever walk, this is an American question, because in America, the automatic teller machines where you go to put your card in and they get out the money at the bank machines, they're in both English and Spanish in most of the United States. So my joke was, hey, did you ever, you guys look like a nice crowd. Did you ever go up to the ATM and see that it gives your choice to do the transaction in English or Spanish? Well, if you want to feel really good about yourself, pick Spanish, because it gives you your balance in pesos, and you're freaking rich. All right. So the next piece is from Will Grahas. Hi, Jason. Are you still into meditation? Yes. I meditation not a formal practice for me. It never was a formal practice. It was just a headspace that I would get into when I would go on walks or be out in nature. I wouldn't sit in my house and meditate. It doesn't quite work for me. But if I go on walks, I can get into a meditative state when I'm out in nature, and I still do try to do that from time to time, and it helps. And remember to breathe. That also is a good reminder. From Quirky Little Fox, if you had to pick between having magic power or influence, which would you choose and why? Having magic, power, magic or power? Oh, I'd choose to have magic in a heartbeat. Because if you have the right kind of magic, then you have power and influence. Psh, that was easy, Genie. Give me another rub on the lamp. I get another wish. All right, Chaos Courtyard, are you a good artist? Can we see some work? I'm not that great of an artist. I did a lot of art when I was younger. And high school is where I kind of stopped pursuing that as a path. I was never nearly as good as a lot of the people who were in the advanced art classes with me. They were all so much better than me. But I still like drawing. I mean, I can do like house designs and furniture designs and things like that. So design work. But fine art, there are so many people that are so much better than me. I mean, I doodle. I can draw the Silco signature pretty good. All right. From Sam_Strange, do you draw or create art, and what's your favorite medium? A similar question. I like pencil. I like mechanical pencil because I do a lot of drafting. All right. Dejera Shell. Wow, I butchered that. Dejera Michelle. Oh, Dejera Michelle. Yeah, whatever. What has been the most difficult voice acting or live action role or job you've ever taken? The most difficult one was a show called Locker 13 because I had to talk to myself in a scene, and they had a body double standing opposite me. So I did both halves of the scene. The movie is chopped into pieces. It's like an anthology movie, and my character kind of wraps around the whole thing, and it's called Locker 13, and it was difficult because I had to talk to myself, and I wasn't there. But it played pretty good on camera, actually. Hello, sir. Can you play an instrument? Yes, I play piano. If Silco could play an instrument, which would it be? Well, piano. Why not? I think I could see him hitting the keys, playing a song like the one that's in the background, a little light jazz. I don't know. Or maybe he's a heavy metal guitar guy. I would say an instrument that was just created for the lanes. There's got to be somebody who could make a cool instrument. Like the Zonophone or something. All right. From Birdmask Guy on Twitter. You have 1,000 questions, so I'm just going to fire them off. I'm nice and wholesome. How can I possibly play complete and utter bastards? I get cast as bad guys because I can make them believable. Because they don't come off sounding fake. They come off as being real people. That's why I get cast to play villains. Because all too often they can be trite. And I have a way of making them real. What is my favorite Batman movie? Dark Knight. Have I considered taking part in Critical Role? Yes. As a matter of fact, Abria invited me on. Have you ever considered recording audiobooks? No, they don't pay that much and it's very tedious. Can you sing? Yes. Watch TikTok. What's your favorite fruit? Raspberry. Well, blueberry. Oh, boy. It's raspberries now. What happened to Linux Mezzo? It was a project way before its time, and it kind of became Chrome OS that we all know and love now. And lastly, we know your favorite song and your favorite poet. Who's my favorite painter? I think Renoir. That's an impressionist for sure. I'm going to go with that. All right. Did Silco ever dance at the club? Only in the VIP. And he sat there and looked at everybody. Come on, guys. You know it's Silco. Maxi.exe on Instagram. Do you remember anything about voice acting? Volpace from Fallout New Vegas. Yes. They told me they wanted him to sound like Hannibal Lecter light. From Joachim Zonchem. Oh, that's Zon, like Zon's Chem, Zon's chemist. All right, from Singed. Did you ever have a special pet in your life? Yes, of course. My very first Greyhound Pinto was the first actual pet I ever owned, really, because I didn't have a lot of pets growing up. So, we got about 5 minutes left. If you could be anyone in the world, fictional or not, who would you be? I like being me, so I'm going to stick with that, because I get to play everybody fictional. I like being me. From Ellen Xing Crossing. Hi, Jason, would you possibly do another signing? Yeah, I'm going to have one January 22nd, 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Be there, be square. There'll be some, we're going to use Niku's art for the signing. I think it's going to be that signing. Either way, Niku's going to have some art out there, and you'll see an announcement about that. Everyone congratulate Niku, because they're awesome. Let's see where we've got here. Okay, so if the this is from Drell Artsy. I love this question. If the Joker and Silco met each other, how do you think it would go down? Now, honestly, the Joker's a true sociopath, and I don't think Silco is. At least not by the end of Arcane. So I know the Joker would win that one. And because there are some things Silco won't do, like he won't give up Jinx, right? And there's nothing the Joker won't do. But I think they would be wary of each other. They're both thinkers and they're both plotters and planners. So it would be nothing for a long time and then a short amount of insane chaos. All right, from Feel Look. If your Silco cosplay is ready by then, will you wear it to conventions? Psh, no. Of course I'll wear it to conventions. That's why I'm getting one made in the first place. And the conventions look like they might be put off for a little while due to an increase in COVID. So my cosplay should be ready in February. Uh-oh. I said February. Favorite Star Wars character? We already said that. Yoda, let's see. Do you like to read? And if so, what's your favorite book? I actually don't have a lot of time to read, like fiction and stuff. Not really. All right, so next to the last question. We are getting close to the end here. I got 2 minutes. So let's just end it by saying, from Spisak Society, which is a great account out there, what is your goal in life? My goal in life is to try to make the world a better place. And there's a lot of ways you can do it, right? You can be positive on Twitter. You can, which is tough to do sometimes. It can be overwhelming. I mean, you guys, I had to shut off my direct message requests on Twitter and Instagram because there's just no way for me to ever get to them now. And that's part of me, like, oh, a little part of me died. Oh, it was hard. You can see a complete stranger who needs help and open the door for them. You can be an activist for whatever cause you want to bring about in the world, to make the world a better place. But ultimately, trying to think about leaving the world better for the next generation of human beings than it was when you got here. If you could do that or try to do that, then your time here isn't wasted, right? And there's a lot of ways that you can pursue that. I like to find the people closest to me, those around me in contact, and try to make their lives better if I can. I like to try to learn new things all the time because the smarter I am, the more problems I can solve for those I love. And it sounds weird, but do no harm. You know, like the saying that they tell doctors when they do the Hippocratic Oath, you know, do no harm. I think there's something to do no harm. The idea that if you're going to take action, and you have to, do your best to try to make sure that you're not harming somebody. And again, just for selfish purposes, like there's something you want in life so bad that you have to harm other people to get it. Maybe reconsider that, you know? Like maybe don't dig up coal anymore and put it in the atmosphere because that's not good for everybody. You know, So yeah, I'm gonna leave you with that. And our hour is up, my friends. But thanks for spending it with me, and appreciate it, my lovelies. Talk soon. Bye.